what I hope will be a quick booth tour, Boston 2023. We'll start over here with Diane Jacobs with Liberty and Justice for All, words of prejudice and bigotry, hand set letterpress printed on vellum and then woven into a flag. Dan Kelm's Templum Elementorum, a case of rather spectacular design bindings, and of course a toilet, which is bound into 1700s binding, early 1800s cat's paw leather seat, etc. New work, new binder working with Nate McCall and his Scottish wheel. Work from Don Glaser and Richard Minsky and Aaron Fletcher, Scott Brockman, etc. More design bindings. Jamie Murphy's work, Gabby Cooksey, Dorothy Thompson, new work, Kathy Abbott, Aaron Fletcher's rather spectacular roadkills, Gaylord, Fractured Lives from Bullet Space. Back wall is largely artist books, Sarah Press, Nancy Levitt, etc. This case is the top 2 or 3 shelves is all the work of Dan Kelm, and then other largely book art. Sarah Halsey, the youngest book artist in the booth. This is a work of Mesa O'Connor when she was still a teenager. Actually, a wonderful piece. She pulped Maine tourism brochures and made paper out of the brochures, and then created a series of anti-tourism book art pieces. Some interesting signed Baskin, Sherlockenalia, wonderful Leonard Weisgard, unusual in that it's signed. It's hard to find his signatures. Emmett paper and occult material broadly. A little bit of Raymond Pettibon, Odia Hippie. Basically Sex, Stuff, and the Devil. Genuinely wonderful set of Anton LaVey material. Each one of them signed to the same gentleman, and signed on Friday the 13th and Halloween and some other date significant. It's escaping me at the moment. Interestingly, the man he inscribed them to infiltrated the Satanic temple, and Church of Satan, and when he admitted it later, having become a member, so to speak, that he had sort of infiltrated with the intent to write, Anton's response was, "So you're telling me you used deceit to gain greater knowledge? That fits our tenets well." Early punk, that's the original, that's the source material for what became Joy Division's cover art, if you will. Some Toby Mott. Early computer science, including the first 2 West Coast computer fairs with an E, because, one of the first references to Apple Computer actually is in the first issue of that in 1977. This is material from Oliver Sacks's collection, including a lovely copy of Astonishing Hypothesis, inscribed by Francis Crick to Oliver Sacks. Beautiful. Oliver and Hilary Knight were friends. So there's this Eloise edition where the first page has this, this book is for Oliver Sacks. And then when you turn the page, she drew this full page sketch for him. Other material from Oliver Sacks's library, some wonderful early Samuel Johnson, extra illustrated set of Life of Johnson. One of my favorite things, frankly, Gordon Gano's letter to Slash, apologizing for delay and including complete lyrics to the first album. This sheet of paper was reproduced for the first several hundred copies of the first album, and in the letter he says, reproduce it just like this, don't make it bigger, don't make it smaller, etc. So that's all the lyrics to Violent Femme's first album in Gordon Gano's hand. Funerary needlework. That is a Margot St. James piece as a birthday present. Trina Robbins, who's a well-known illustrator, basically made a board game of her life. Work by Carolyn Trant. Work from Leonard Baskin. That's the same print on paper and on vellum. Irises. Then we have work from Mike Taylor, 2 pieces. Michael Kutch, his rather brilliant Common Monsters of the United States. Jamie Murphy and Alice Maris, Memento Civitum, which is a stunning collaboration with the National Gallery of Ireland. Really quite remarkable piece. And across the top, we'll finish with Tom Huck's rather extraordinary Hillbilly Kama Sutra. I'm fond of noting that if Dore and R. Crumb had a child, it would be Tom Huck. So that's, oops, I forgot the front. Daily Citizen, first printing. That was the paper that was printed off the found type in Vicksburg after the fall. Smuggled, that's a Pushkin piece that was supposedly printed in Russia but was really printed in Germany. David Berkowitz, the book David Berkowitz blamed for his killing spree, at Anatomy of Witchcraft, with his marginalia throughout. Early interesting pre-World War I Swiss and French, basically songbook, all manuscript and illustrated. Book art from Sarah Press. Inconclusive manual for for unanswerable questions, clearly under-caffeinated. Inez's work, Mina's Book of Delightful and Curious Design. This is a collection of Japanese paper stencils for fabric. They would soak the cut paper in persimmon, dry it, soak it, and you'd end up with something that was waterproof. And the entire book is cyanotypes from different ones. Along the bottom, you have the digital resistance toolkit, sort of everything you need in one piece to drop off the planet. Other work, that's Tim Schwartz. Modern Methods is also Schwartz. Some ephemera material. Early conversation cards, sort of a precursor to modern tarot. A smattering of our miniatures, a little more history of computing, and can finish with a sort of lovely copy of History of Italy. This particular copy is important because it belonged to Eden, who was the governor of Maryland as the Civil War was starting, and he wrote a letter basically telling the crown that they should reconsider how they were handling the colonies. And in that letter, he cites a piece of this from this book, his copy of this book. And it's one of the handful of things that he kept when he was forced to flee before his neighbors burned his house. And then we'll finish, a little hard to see through this case, but this is the most recent work by Gabby Cooksey. It is a fully tattooed binding on the Book of Werewolves by Baron Gould. And on the other side, we have one of the prettiest copies in the original binding of the same book. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions.